in between the emotional and physical self. And thank you today to ASHA Experience, a Swiss-based wellness company offering self-care and self-discovery, a journey of authentic yoga and Ayurvedic treatments. And ASHA is making a constant endeavor to spread awareness about the authentic yoga and Ayurveda among its community, and who are founders Hubert Patry and also Bijoya, who's here today. Hubert hasn't appeared yet, has he? No?
Hubert is here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, good. And thank you to Lemonade Social for hosting, for doing these regular educational talks. Today we're going to have on, contributing to the discussion is Susie Colles, who is, as we've just heard, based in India. Oops. And Susie is the author of The Art of Ayurvedic Nutrition and holistic health practitioner. So Susie, do you want to just tell us about, your background and how you got into the understanding of Ayurveda?
Yeah, sure. My background, I guess, is in nutrition, particularly as a dietitian. I worked in that area for quite a number of years and did a PhD in biomedical science. I then spent a little time in Africa and actually met my husband there, who's Indian. And then when we came to India, I was very ready to explore new aspects of nutrition and health in general, and that was when I came to Ayurveda, and that was about eight or so years ago now. So I started studying Ayurveda and practicing and yoga as well, practicing writing about it, and I've never looked back.
Right. So have you always been interested in nutrition? Is that always something that you've worked with?
Yes, yeah. I think, I grew up with, an innate understanding. I think that food was a foundational aspect of health. So, yes, I would say that's always been one of my primary focuses.
Okay, good. Well, we're going to learn more about what you've got to say about the positive aspects of Ayurveda in our lives. And we've also got Dr. Taruna Yadav. Hello, Doctor. There we go. Nice to see you today, Dr. Reena. And you are an Ayurvedic practitioner and a lifelong learner and believer also in gratitude and positivity, energy healings.
That's correct.
So just tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you discovered Ayurvedic.
Well, I've grown up in India and after marriage migrated to Australia. And in India, I grew up with Ayurveda in my family. My grandparents, they were both strong believers in Ayurveda, and they wanted me to get involved and study the proper way of the treatment and the healing processes which happen.
Wow.
So
Ayurveda grandparents.
Sorry?
Your grandparents, they were using it in their lives, were they?
Yeah, they were. Ayurveda is basically a living style. It's not a system of medicine. It is something you believe in and you live every day.
Yes, it's a way of life.
It's a way of life, and that's what I learned from them. And that's what I've been practicing, and after marriage moved to Australia and I've been practicing here. And that's my story.
Very nice. And what took you to Australia?
Marriage.
Oh, you married an Australian?
No, I married an Indian, but he was based in Australia. So.
Okay. Yeah. But Australia's very good in terms of understanding Ayurveda and also living the healthy lifestyle.
Yes, it is. I have a very broader vision after I moved here and learned a lot of different aspects of healthy living every day, which incorporated Ayurvedic beliefs, but not in written, but people practice those beliefs here. Okay,
good. Okay, well, we'll hear more from you, and we're just going to introduce Dr. Reena Arora, who is also here. Dr. Reena, where are you?
Yes, hello.
Hello. So you're based in India?
Yes, I am from Delhi.
You're from Delhi, and you are an Ayurvedic practitioner for the last
Yes.
20 years.
Yes.
And you also talk about it a lot. Do you talk about it on the radio?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us how you got into, or how you sort of discovered Ayurveda and the lifestyle.
Yes. From 9th standard onwards, I decided that I will be a doctor in my life. And when I got admission in BAMS, then I thought that I will be a good Ayurvedic doctor. And when I started seeing the miracles happening by Ayurveda in the life of patients, then I was firmly determined for this thing, that I will practice only Ayurveda. And now, even from 22 years, I am practicing only Ayurveda. I am not using any allopathic medicines. And this is my journey. And I have spreaded this journey in many areas. Like I am regular speaker at DG National, and I am regular speaker at All India Radio. I have presented many papers in international conferences. I was keynote speaker in some conferences, and I have also I was selected for a paper in USA, but due to COVID, we were not able to go. This conference was in this year June. So this is about my journey, and I am also a psychotherapist according to Ayurveda. I advise diets according to Ayurveda. I advise lifestyle to every patient according to Ayurveda, which brings a lot of very good change in the life of these patients. And they are happy. They come again and they send many people after that because they learn how to live, how to eat, how to behave in society. This is the beauty of Ayurveda.
Great. Okay. Well, that's a nice introduction. And we talk about Ayurveda as being a way of life. I mean, can you sort of go more into that, Reena?
Yes. Ayurveda is naturally a way of life. In Ayurveda, seasonal regime is mentioned. Like now in India, it's Sharad Ritu, and in which the Pith dosha is usually predominant, due to which skin patients are more in this season, and the patients who are suffering from hyperacidity, this is more in this season particularly, and it's aggravated. So, if we tell the patients in advance that you have to balance your pitta in this season so that you don't suffer from these diseases like hyperacidity and skin diseases and many more diseases related to pitta predominant doshas, then they will not suffer from this disease. And if by only changing the diet and lifestyle they can be relieved from these diseases or these symptoms, I think that's more than sufficient. And next is, in this lifestyle is also advised that you should get up early in the morning. You should not wake up at night. Like people are sleeping at 2 or 3 at night and getting up at 10 in the morning, and they say, I am not sleeping in the day. But after 6 a.m., if you are sleeping, this is equal to day sleeping in according to Ayurveda. And you are increasing your kapha dosh, which is responsible for many lifestyle disorders if you are waking up at night. And hormonal balance is deranged, which is responsible for many lifestyle disorders. This is the reason that Ayurveda is way of life. One more thing I will like to tell in the present situation of COVID-19 pandemic, as Ayush Ministry has advised, you should follow Dinacharya, that is daily regime according to Ayurveda. Get up early in the morning, do oil pulling, put oil in your nose for prevention of COVID-19, because this forms a biological mask in the nasal membrane, and any bacteria or virus cannot enter in nasal membrane. And same is for oil pulling therapy. If we are doing this daily, our teeth are protected, our mouth dryness is gone, and any virus or bacteria cannot enter easily in our mouth. Both are passages for COVID-19 virus, so we can prevent this. And
Right.
next thing they have told, that is good conduct is also mentioned in Ayurvedic books. How you should behave in society. This is the main thing which is lacking in these days. Everybody is jealous of others' prosperity, but you are not aware about the hard work he has put in his life. So you should see the hard work, not the prosperity. See the beauty. This thing
Yes.
cannot be explained by anybody. We
Well,
only
you've covered a lot in one sentence. I mean, I'm gonna, let's talk more about this in more detail. But I'm
yes.
gonna go to Susie, and let's talk about how Ayurveda is categorized into 3 types of life forces, the doshas. Susie, do you want to talk about that? Because I know you've written about it in your blog.
Okay, sure. So, yeah, I guess that's one of the main principle and perhaps distinguishing feature of Ayurveda are the three dosha, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And what these life forces are, well, I guess they're, seen in slightly different ways, but I see them as managers of the body. And what they manage in the body are the five great elements of Mother Nature. So that's earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So Vata dosha is the manager or the force that within the body that manages the air and the ether elements, which are light and dry and mobile. The Pitta dosha is the only of the three dosha that has fire in it. So that's made up of fire and water, or managing those elements. So that's the hot dosha. And what Dr. Reena was saying, in this season in particular, the fire and the water elements are both dominant. And that's why there's a tendency for those elements to become elevated and aggravated in the body, which in turn produces diseases that are triggered by excess heat in particular.
Right.
And then Kapha dosha, sorry, did you have a question?
No, explain the other one and then I'll ask a question.
So Kapha dosha is the heavier dosha. It manages earth and water, which are the two heavier elements. And they're also cooler elements. So while Vata is light and dry, Pitta is hot and pungent and quite sharp because of the fire element. And Kapha dosha is more heavy and slow and soft, being predominant in the earth and ether, earth and water elements. Right. And so at the time of birth, or around that time, or really at the time of the union of the sperm and the egg, there will be perhaps one or two of these dosha that are predominant and become what we call prakriti, or our nature, the birth constitution. And so whatever one or two elements are predominant at that time tend to remain that way within our nature, within the body, throughout life. And so there is we all have our different tendencies depending on our mix of the five great elements. So if you have, say, a fire element was dominant at birth, then you're going to be predominant in Pitta dosha and have that tendency to be warmer throughout your life. Of course, other elements come in because we're eating foods that contain different elements. We're in changing environments. Living in the hills, for example, it's higher in the air and ether elements, so we're perhaps more likely to take those on. And they become our imbalance. So, yeah, depending on your birth constitution, that's considered your innate balance, but over time we can also take on imbalance. And so while we're getting to know ourselves and understand the dosha, we need to consider both aspects really and work with our nature and also any extra elements that we're harbouring, I guess, that are imbalancing us.
And how do we find out what doshas we have, and how can Ayurvedic help put those in balance?
So to find out, probably the easiest way to find out your birth constitution would be to sit with an experienced Vaidya or practitioner who will uncover that constitution. But often, and I find actually in India quite a lot, doctors aren't so immediately interested in the birth constitution, because usually over time we've actually become quite imbalanced, and it can be hard to tease apart what is someone's innate constitution and what is the imbalance that they're carrying. So it's perhaps more common and the other doctors may have something different to say here, but,
but
often the imbalance is the first and most important thing to address. And as the body returns to balance, it becomes clearer what the innate constitution is.
okay.
And there was a second, and of course also, and what I consider perhaps one of the most important aspects is for us to begin to take a lot more time observing ourselves, looking for each of the 5 elements within us, looking at the qualities associated with those elements in our own bodies, in our emotions, in our thoughts, because the elements manifest in all of these different ways. So the more closely that you observe yourself, your own tendencies, look for the elements and qualities in the foods that you're eating. What are the foods that you eat every day? Are they high in fire? Are they high in ether? Are they heavy foods, high in the earth element? All of these different elements are always mixing within the body.
Okay. So, Taruna, do you have anything to contribute on that in terms of how Ayurveda, helps with the doshas and puts them in balance?
Yes, so Dr. Susie has mentioned it well. The 3 Ayurveda's basic principle is based on 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And all of us have bases of these 3 doshas, and the balance within these doshas is balance of life and disease-free life. So these doshas are in the body and mind as well.
So it's self-healing.
Is the self-healing. So if we understand what the basic prakriti we have, and we work according to the constituency and follow the lifestyle regimes to balance the doshas, the doshas are called prakriti actually. So dosha doesn't mean disease. They are how we say you have vata dosha, pitta dosha, or kapha dosha, or you can be mix of vata pitta, vata kapha, and kapha pitta, or you could be 3 doshas. And based on your body constituency, there are set Ayurvedic regimes which you follow, and you can go from there. And the doshas are also based on season and also the life stages in the body. So from birth to school age to 20-25 years, we are more prominent in kapha dosha. Then from 20 onwards to 45 years or like 50 years, we are more predominant in pitta dosha. And as we grow older, vata dosha is more predominant. So even though we have our basic prakriti, our age also matters with the dosha and how we make sure that we balance. So when we are kids, we are more relaxed, we are more basic, grounded, and we like to do different activities. But during our adulthood, we are more of fiery nature. We want to rule the world, and we have all the energy in the world, which is a quality of pitta. And it helps us to achieve there. Our basic prakriti will matter, but even the age prakriti comes in there. And as we grow older towards the old age, the vata dosha gets predominant. It gets disbalance in the body. And we see a lot of people with old age having pains and aches over the body, and they have difficulty in digestion, which leads to imbalance of vata dosha. So understanding the prakriti, understanding the dosha first, and then how it implies in your life is basis to understand the Ayurvedic concept.
Right, okay, because Reena was talking about, having sort of in terms of getting up early in the morning and having, that's part of having a healthy lifestyle and how Ayurveda, is keeping everything in balance.
Yes.
What else?
Sorry.
Explain how else it can sort of keep you in balance and how you manage your
So
doshas.
even the doshas are based in the daytime as well. So there's a particular time period for vata dosha, pitta dosha, and kapha dosha. So as I say seasons, but I also say during the daytime. So the vata time period would be from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. That is the vata kal. So if we follow the structure for Vata dosha, we look into those particular time periods to follow. The Kapha time period is from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then again 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. So
Okay.
and the specific Kapha time, Dinacharya or Kapha Charya we follow during that time period. The Pitta dosha time period is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Okay.
And that is why when Dr. Reena said that we have to sleep and wake up at particular time, it is according to how the doshas balance. So if we wake up in Vata Kal, it's different. So we wake up in Kapha Kal, we have more energy, we work towards it. So 6 to 10 a.m., but we are more lethargic. So if we wake up that time, we are trying to balance a Kapha dosha. Ayurveda mentions having lunch is the most important part of your meal. So the Pitta time period, which is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., is the time period you should have your main meals, which is where your digestive fire is at highest. And I'm sure Susie will agree with me because she's working on those concepts. And then we have lighter dinner towards the night time, because that again, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. is a Kapha time period. So if we have heavy dinner, we get more lethargic, then the digestion process slows down, and then all the issues where can't sleep, bloating, constipation, and all these things go with it.
Okay, so it's just having the right routine. And
Right
does sleep,
routine, yeah.
the right routine. And does sleep, in terms of how many hours sleep you need, is that something that one needs to consider? How many hours somebody?
It depends upon your prakriti, but at the same time, minimum of 7 hours if we talk in Western medicine or Western style, saying that we need minimum of 7 hours of sleep. But again, the individual prakriti and your body constituency is also a very determination factor in advising what is your right body type and what is your lifestyle.
Okay.
So it is a journal lifestyle, but again, it is very individual lifestyle based on what prakriti you have.
Okay, so in terms of food, I'm going to ask this to Susie. How does one find out which elements are in the food we eat? I mean, what do you recommend in terms of people finding out what foods suit their dosha, for example?
Sure. So I guess, so we were talking about the 5 elements. From within the 5 elements, they all have their own qualities. And it's really the qualities that we're looking for that are more obvious. So for example, as I said, in the earth element, that tends to be heavy. Ayurveda understands that earth and water both have a sweet taste. And so that's another way, perhaps one of the most important and easiest ways to understand what are the elements in foods are by their taste as well. The fire element is sharp, and it's obviously high in pungent foods. So chilies and any spicy foods. A lot of spices have some pungency in them. And then the air and ether elements tend to be lighter. They're going to be higher in popped foods, in foods that have been cooked dry or dehydrated. And the air and ether elements together actually make the bitter taste, which most people don't like and tend to avoid, but it's actually a very important taste to include, and one of the most cleansing, and has an important influence on the liver as well. But anyway, so when you have a food in front of you, the most important thing to do is really to have a look at what elements you can, or what qualities you can see in that food. A banana, it's got a denseness, it's got a heaviness, it's sweet. So we know that that's going to be quite a building food, a heavier food, a denser food.
It's intuitively knowing as well what your body relates to as well.
Really, I mean, the difference between, I guess, or one of the differences between the Western way of looking at food in regards to perhaps calories and nutrients is that they're not readily visible. We're relying on chemists and scientists to tell us or, you know, calculate for us what this food is. And so people then become very, very disconnected from the food that they're eating. They're intellectualizing food. It becomes numbers and brands, and we're looking at packaging. We're not actually looking at the food that we're eating. Whereas Ayurveda is understands that we're intimately connected with food. The food that we eat becomes the physical body. There's no other, you know, that is what happens. There's the 5 great elements in Mother Nature, and we're also made up of the 5 great elements, as are the foods that we eat. And from those 5 great elements, it's the qualities that we're focusing on, and that's how we're the easiest ways to understand is the qualities and tastes of the food, and to understand or how they're going to impact us in our physical body. And also not only eating the foods and tasting them, also then observing for after effects within your own body. Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know, food is part of it, but then there's daily habits and rituals, you know, that also come together. How do you complement that into, you know, meditation, yoga? You know, what are the sort of elements to keep things in balance as well as your diet? Susie.
Sure. I mean, within the dinacharya, and we've touched on that, that's the daily routine. I mean, there's many different elements, and it's really across the spectrum of what you could include. It's really about tailoring it to your dosha, and also to the season, to your individual lifestyle, what time you have, what tendencies you have. I mean, across the board, however, I would say that meditation is really such a foundational aspect to helping to balance the physical body, the mental body, and the spiritual body, and to be integrated, calm, is such an important part of the day. And in general, Ayurveda and yoga would suggest that the early morning hours are the best time for meditation. I mean, early morning sort of is 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., which is obviously not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
But if you can get up even 15 minutes earlier, half an hour earlier, and bring some quiet, introspective meditation. And again, there's many different ways to meditate. And so you can choose a way, a visualization, or a mantra, or just a, you know, there's many different ways to meditate. And so again, you can choose based on what your preference is, what your tendencies are. But that would be one important aspect. And then there's, as Dr. Taruna was saying, there's the meal timings, different practices in the morning, such as the oil gargling and oiling the nose and the ears. Abhyanga is oil self-massage, where before bathing, you can cover the body in oil in a particular way. And then when you bathe, wash the oil off. Is a very nourishing and grounding practice, particularly useful for Vata dosha, which is the lighter air, higher in the lighter air and ether elements. So the oiling is a very grounding practice. And I mean, in this day and age, most people actually, the vast majority have high Vata dosha, because so many aspects in our daily life, in the environment, are actually Vata aggravating.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, I'm going to ask Reena, you know, in terms of, you were talking about, you know, alleviating stress like times of coronavirus. How you briefly mentioned that earlier. How does it help in terms of alleviating stress and also, you know, with particularly now when we're all sort of, you know, not dealing with the sort of balance of ourselves? How does Ayurvedic sort of help with that, Reena?
For beating the stress of COVID-19 or the daily routine stress?
I mean, particularly now, but also, yeah,
Yes.
we're alleviating stress.
Yes. First thing is, don't listen to news whole day, because when you will see the figure, then naturally you will be stressed. Second, you should follow all the precautions, that is social distancing, mask and the diets I have mentioned about COVID-19 advised by Ayush Ministry. If you will allow me, I will like to advise here to the listeners so that they can follow up to the extent they can. And the meditation plays a major role in preventing the stress or of the COVID-19. Yoga and the timely meal. And third thing is that don't see anybody. You just follow your routine. You just take your meals and do your work. Because I have seen many people, they are giving a social smile, but they are not happy from inside. And I want to see that actual smile on your face, not that social smile for just showing the people that I'm very happy, which is the main cause of stress. So you should have a friend or a person with whom you can discuss your gut feelings, not only the things for showing the social society. When we will understand this thing that nobody is bothered about you, your growth or your recession, then you will grow. You will grow from inside, which you should do. So this is the time that you realize this thing, that if we are going in loss or if we are gaining something, nobody is bothered about this thing. So don't worry about society. Do your own works, do your maximum efforts, your yoga, your meditation, your diets, and be happy. Once a person is happy, he can tolerate all the things. But I have seen very less people are usually actually happy. They are showing happiness, but they are not happy. They're dancing, they're partying. But you tell me, truly, are you happy after partying or after taking drinks or all these social nights? Is everybody happy after these things? I don't think. But after doing meditation and this solitude, you gain actual happiness. So you should bring these things in your life. In this COVID-19 pandemic is a time in which a change is coming in everyone. And I think a pattern of society will also be changed. Social gatherings are decreasing, and financial crisis is also faced by almost everyone during this period. So naturally there will be stress, but don't feel the stress. In the initial times, even I think all of us are have parents and they don't were so rich or they don't have so much things, but they were very happy. People were together. Now these things are missing. Only money is there. Even to children, we are giving materialistic things, not the actual love which they deserve. So this is the way of life which we should change, and we should focus on actual happiness. Then this stress will also be automatically removed from our life. And one or two dietary advices I would like to give here. You can use pumpkin, which is very good brain tonic. You will feel happy. And it's said that usually sweet dish is very good for creating happiness. But according to Ayurveda, always take sweets or desserts before meal. Usually this is served after meal. There is a method of taking sweets and desserts in Ayurveda. You should take before meal so that the calorie count is also mentioned and digestion improves, and the effect of this sweet dish is also maximum if you take initially.
Okay, so what you're saying is you should eliminate sort of as many toxins as possible, i.e. the Western world are very good at partying and drinking and living, and that makes them feel out of balance, whereas Ayurveda is kind of a way of doing it in a more soulful way, rooted from a rooted place. You know, you talked about food, which is like pumpkin, for example. You know, it's kind of like it's going back to basics, but it's also doing things from the soul and happiness inside from the soul.
You
So
tell me
what,
your experience first. That if you party or if you take drinks and you enjoy a lot, but after that, do you feel actual happiness? You tell me your experience, but share true experience. Don't be.
no, I agree with that. I think it's toxins which are, I mean, they're not going to make you feel good, are they? The next day,
Yes, yes, yes,
especially
yes.
when you've got a hangover from you've had you've been sort of put up. Your mood has been put up, but when you put toxins in your body, what
But
goes up must come down.
this mood is up only for a while, I think, for that night in which you are taking drinks. After that, when that night is gone and the dose of drink is over, that happiness is also gone. Is it so?
Yes,
I think I am
yes,
right. Yes.
yes.
And one
So,
more thing, the
mm,
glow on the face of the people who are doing meditation, who are doing yoga, this is a natural glow. Otherwise, you can apply 100 type of makeup products, but you will not get that glow, which is the glow from inside happiness, which I am trying to tell you. And one or two more things, that nasal application of oil, which is called Pratimarsh Nasya according to Ayurveda. You can put 2 drops of oil in both nostrils in the morning, remove the pillow, lie in this way, lying on the bed, and then put 2 drops of oil in both nostrils. This is also very good for relaxation of brain, for eyes, for glow of face, for hairs. These are the benefits of putting this oil. You can put badam oil, that is almond oil, or cow's desi ghee in both nostrils. And Shirodhara is also recommended in Ayurveda for removing stress. If you have these facilities in your countries, then you can also avail these. Then apply oil on your feet before sleeping. This is also a stress relieving measure according to Ayurveda.
okay. So, in terms of also Ayurveda, helping, let's say, with pains and aches, that it can also eliminate pains and aches in your body as well as
Mm,
stress.
mm,
So, for example, if somebody has a bad knee or it can help with that,
mm,
having a
mm.
treatment. Yeah.
Yes. If you are having a backache or some pains in the body in any part, like arm or frozen shoulder or knee pain, then you can apply oil on that area. And I think someone was asking also that which oil we should use. For simple massage, you can use sesame oil. Sesame oil is best. Even for children, for newborn baby, sesame oil is best. There are many research papers on this. You don't need these costly oils of Johnson baby or any other medicated oils. This is best. Simple sesame oil. You do this massage. When we are getting younger or older, even then we should do this massage daily if possible, because this prevents muscle wear and tear. And for preventing the aging changes of arthritis or knee pain or this type, we should do regular exercises to prevent these pains. Okay.
Okay.
And if even by these measures, these are not subsided, then we should consult a doctor. And one more thing I will like to advise according to diets. If you are suffering from any pain in the knee or back, you should not eat curd and sour things. Like people are taking these lemon and all these cold drinks. This is not good for pains. Okay.
Okay, great. And in terms of the oil being used as a mask, what sort of oil is that?
Yes. Otherwise, anu tail is recommended. If it's not available there, you can use almond oil. I think
Almond
it's
oil.
available. Yes.
Almond
Or
oil.
you can
Okay.
also use cow's ghee or coconut oil.
Okay. Okay, good. I mean, in general, because obviously Ayurvedic originates from where you are, but the Western world are now understanding the benefits, and even the WHO are understanding it as a they approve of it. So it's. Do you think it's growing in terms of people becoming more aware of the benefits of the
Yes.
Ayurvedic lifestyle?
Yes. After COVID-19 pandemic, you will be astonished to see whole world is asking for holistic medicine. Even Ayush Ministry has given this advisory to many countries by translating into their language. Even my video is available on YouTube if someone asks for this advisory of Ayush Ministry. And I have also uploaded a video on diets for COVID patients. And this is the reason the COVID-19 pandemic has brought awareness about holistic medicine. And because I will like to share one thing here. All of you know that there is no treatment of COVID-19 in allopathic even till now. Vaccines are being discovered in every country. But in India, in the All India Institute of Ayurveda, there is a staff of 550 people. And even a single person is not infected with COVID-19. Although the institute is in red zone area of South Delhi, they are taking the precautions according to Ayurveda, and they are doing havan, they are doing taking this giloy and anutel, the oil which I have told you by putting in nose. Even I am treating the patients of COVID-19 by only Ayurvedic medicines, and there are many government centers in India in which the data is being collected and patients are treated by Ayurvedic medicines very nicely. They are not suffering from any other ailment. So this is the reason that people even from foreign countries are ordering these things. And you know, there is less stock in India available now of these herbs, which is in demand, much demand now.
Okay. So where can we, I mean, in terms of herbs, you know, where can we get hold of it? You know, how do we get hold of good quality Ayurvedic treatment in the Western world? I don't know, Taruna, maybe you want to answer that because you're in Australia. So let's talk about that.
Western world, well, I could tell you briefly more about Australia. We have our AAA organization, which is Ayurvedic Association of Australia, where we have to register with them to practice. And there are various Ayurvedic centers here in Australia. So we practice based on the Ayurvedic principles, and the herbs are definitely ordered from India because India is the source, and Kerala, where Susie is, during down south, is the basic hub of Ayurvedic medicines. Okay. And herbs available there. So that's the place to be. And if people outside of India are there where you want to go for related Ayurvedic doctors, you have to best search for the registered ones because they are the ones who have this knowledge and who have studied 5.5 years in India. Yes. Under the Ayurvedic principles and apply that knowledge and treat you based on the principle of Ayurveda. Okay.
So there's a list online that you can find of registered doctors.
Yes. So in Australia, we do have. And I still have, and I believe in Europe also, there are different registrations. In USA, also there's a Society for Ayurvedic Doctors, so which are collectively they have their association and they follow about it.
Okay,
so they
great.
make sure that we practice according to norms of Ayurveda.
Okay. And just asking Susie, you know, in terms of Ayurvedic herbs, which herbs sort of are recommended for, you know, a healthy practice in our nutrition?
Okay, I mean, that's wholly dependent on who you are and what issues you have and I guess what the aims are. I mean, can I just, I'll come back to that a little more specifically. Yes. Also, just in general, I think about herbs is, I mean, the quality of the herbs is absolutely paramount. I mean, as with anything that you put in or on your body, the quality and the purity of the product is paramount, or else, yes, you might be taking in some nutrients or qualities, but you're also taking in toxins and imbalancing aspects. So what's the use? You're burdening the body rather than helping it. So I think if you are going to take herbs, you certainly need to make sure that they're organically grown. I mean, why take pesticides traditionally Ayurvedic herbs were grown in such pure and holistic circumstances in harmony with Mother Nature and how they were harvested and treated and processed while repeating mantra, and all of these aspects were integral to the efficacy of the herbs and the herbal preparations. Now, of course, a lot of that has been lost. the growing conditions are far from ideal. I mean, many of the Ayurvedic herbs actually were grown naturally at altitude in the Himalayas. So as well as Kerala, I think the Himalayas was another area where a lot of herbs came from. And of course now they've been over-harvested and perhaps climate change and a lot of different things going on. But whatever herbs you are taking, do try to make sure that they're organically grown and understand the source. So look into who you're purchasing these from. If you're buying tablets, I mean, I've seen some, and you know, they're from companies in India and probably elsewhere, but you know, the tablets are covered in these fluorescent pink and fluorescent blue coatings, you know, that are with colourings that are, you know, not permitted in most of the EU, for example. So do think about, you know, what products you're taking and make sure that they're as pure as possible. And I think in the UK there are some companies, and I don't have the names on the top of my head, but whatever herbs are being imported, there are quite stringent tests on the purity and looking at the different heavy metal contaminants and things like that.
Okay,
so that's
good.
really important. Insofar as taking the herbs, then of course there's different things to think about. And Ayurveda, one of the most important aspects of Ayurvedic health is the digestion. There's no good eating a food if you can't digest it. It just becomes a toxin and it pollutes the body. Same with herbs. You need to be able to digest the herbs and assimilate the herbs for them to really have their positive effect. So when you take the herbs, is the best time before you eat or with food or after you eat? What time of day do you take it? What vehicle are you going to take it with, for example, to optimize its effect? That might be ginger tea or with ghee or aloe vera, different aspects. So when you are going to take herbs, and it's hard for me to say really what herbs to take, because as I said, it's very, I mean, there's many herbs and herbal preparations. They really need to be prescribed individually.
So you really need to know what your body needs.
Yes, I mean, not so much you really. I guess the doctor or practitioner will be the expert or the herbalist.
They'll be the ones that tell you,
Exactly, and then it's up to you to follow that advice as closely as you can, and you know, not taking it every now and then. And when you think of it, it's important to be regular, and it's important, of course, to back up any herbal therapies with diet, with lifestyle as two fundamental aspects of health. All three support each other, and there's really no other way to reach for holistic health than covering all three aspects.
Okay, and you mentioned the origin of Ayurveda was in Kerala and in the Himalayas. That was the origin of Ayurveda.
Well, I'm saying most of the herbs have come from the Himalaya and are also grown in Kerala now. A lot of the herbs are now grown in Kerala as well.
Okay. Okay, great. Very good. Yeah, sorry, Taruna.
Could I add to what Susie was just saying about the herbs? She mentioned about the herbs to be taken according to the prescription of an Ayurvedic doctor, which is a very important thing to understand. The Ayurvedic herb is also based, the dose is based on your Prakriti. So if one dose is suitable for me, it may not be suitable for Reena or Susie or for yourself, and how to take it. So it's not a standard paracetamol kind of medicine where everybody can take it. So people fail to understand that, and they just you will read about it and you will go, okay, this says I have these symptoms and I can go and take it. But the dose, how to take it, what time of day to take it, and what your prakriti is a very important aspect of Ayurvedic herbs and oils to be used. So that is one thing which the awareness is there. We are trying to work on this and we're educating people. So yes, Ayurveda is a household name. It is a lifestyle and it is a daily practice. But when it comes to medication and herbs, self-doctor is not recommended.
Okay.
It is very individual. It is based on your prakriti. And
sure.
And every herb, there are some certain things which you have to avoid and you have to take. So you cannot judge based on what is advertised or what we are talking here. We are talking in journal, but again, when it comes to certain ailments, you have to go and see an Ayurvedic doctor or a practitioner, and based on their recommendations, then you go from there.
Okay.
Katrina, I would like to add one thing.
Yes, Reena, go on.
Yes. Dr. Taruna is saying very right in this context that we should not take drugs on our own or by seeing the social sides or all these things, because Ayurveda is a personalized system of medicine in which we see a person. When a patient comes to me, I take 1 hour, what you do, what you eat, and then I describe according to his or her constitution that this should be your diet, this should be your routine. So if you are not going to a doctor, these things will be absent from your routine. And if, for example, I have taken the mic only for this, like people say that you should take aloe vera. So you can think that aloe vera can be harmful for some persons. I think no one will think. But if a pregnant lady consumes aloe vera, this can cause abortions. And if the girls are suffering from menorrhagia, like heavy periods, and they take aloe vera, this can cause more bleeding. So see the herbs. If you are not visiting a doctor and you are taking on your own, you can create blunders, and then you will say that Ayurveda is harmful. Ayurveda is not harmful. You have not consulted a doctor before taking any herb. So you should not start anything on your own. Okay. Thank you, Katrina.
Okay. Great, thank you. I'm just going to ask a sort of general question to all of you. In terms of, people that have taken on the sort of holistic lifestyle of Ayurveda, what are the results you see, the changes you see in people when they choose this holistic way of living? What are the positive results you see? I mean, starting with Reena, and then I'll go through to Susie and Taruna, and then I'll answer some questions here that we have from the audience.
Yes, I will like to answer this question. People are very happy with holistic medicines. You can see my Google reviews and see the actual language they use. The feeling they give me that they are actually happy after taking this treatment. They were suffering from so many years and they have visited a lot of allopathic doctors who have suggested operations or this type of things. And now they are cured only by medicines and diet change and lifestyle changes. I will discuss a simple case of hernia here. A person of 70 years was suffering from inguinal hernia. He took my medicine for 6 months and he was 80% fine, no need of operation. He was so happy that you can understand when you are not advised for surgery after taking a treatment. And same case with hyperacidity patients, piles patients, or fibroid patients. And there are PCOD patients, diabetes patients. They send 100 more patients because they are feeling very good after taking these therapies, the lifestyle changes, the dietary changes. So the whole world is seeing towards Ayurveda, and now the people have started going first to Ayurveda doctor, and if I refuse or I refer, then they will think about visiting an allopathic doctor. I think this is more than I deserve.
Okay, great. And obviously, Reena, you were saying, now is the time to deep dive inside and look at what makes you happy.
Yes.
Yes, from the inside out. And Taruna, what tell us about what positive results you've seen in terms of Ayurvedic lifestyle and practice and that way of being?
When I get positive reviews from the patients I've dealt with, and it tells them what they feel like, the glow on their skin after the treatment and their connection to their self. is a very positive outcome for me. So when they say, oh, we didn't know this was the cause why we were having this. So they were not treated based on their symptoms, but what caused the symptoms.
Yes.
And after the Ayurvedic lifestyle changes, they have made their life so beautiful, and they've able to connect, and they've gone into meditation and yoga, which has helped them a lot. So it's not about medicines, it's about the way of life, what you eat, how you live, and what you think, how you connect with yourself. It's more about connecting with self and balance, which is made. So,
Yeah,
and
the
that,
emotional and physical.
that's correct. The emotional, physical balance, which people are able to connect with themselves, and which has brought me a lot of joy in being able to help them find their journey and help them connect with themselves.
Wonderful. And if
Reena,
people
I would
want
like
to,
to add one line only here. As Dr. Taruna has said very nicely, we take food. This is the diet for our body. And meditation is the diet for mind. If we are not doing this or any such type of activity, we are not giving the diet to the mind. This is the reason of many mental diseases, depression, stress, insomnia, and many other disorders. So, for giving the diet to mind, we should do some chanting of mantras, meditation, or some insight seeing. Thank you,
great,
Suji. Now you can.
great. So it can treat many things, but it is also about a practice,
Yes.
having a practice.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and Susie, do you want to contribute to the positive side of, you know, the results you see in terms of diet?
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of diet, yes. I mean, in general, I think one of the, I mean, what people are doing when they come to us is often taking the wrong, you know, foods that are clogging up the body with toxins and, you know, heavy foods that they're not digesting. So the body's full of toxins. The mind is imbalanced, it's full of toxins as well. And from that space, of course, people are making bad decisions. They don't know how to make good decisions. They can't relate to themselves. They're not connected with the environment and Mother Earth, Mother Nature. So by slowly cleansing the body, the physical body, the mental body, slowly releasing all of these toxins, people do naturally become more in tune with their own nature. They return to their own nature. And from that place, then making more intuitive choices become a lot easier, more balancing choices, more intelligent choices. So there's cleansing to do, there's some learning to do, and then slowly over time, people's choices become more intuitive, more balanced, easier to make the good choice and to be in balance. So a lot of people, when they come, they're confused and you know, continuously making choices that don't support them, but over time making the right choices and living a more balanced, happy life becomes natural, let's say. Yeah.
Okay. And if people wanted to sort of start, you know, sort of finding a way to sort of live this Ayurvedic lifestyle, what would you recommend to them to do? What steps would you recommend them to take?
I think, I mean, it depends. Everyone just needs to start where they are and perhaps choose what mode of seeking suits you. For some people, it might be start reading. And I mean, there's a lot of information available now, of course, online and in book form or videos. Just try to be a little discerning about particularly what you read and look at on the internet. But, you know, I mean, starting with a book or, I mean, ideally a practitioner that has been recommended to you to start uncovering your own nature and really to go within. And I think, you know, if that's a a theme perhaps to take away from today. Start to observe yourself, observe the elements within you, the qualities within you. Look more closely at what you're eating. Experience the foods that you're eating. Feel the effects in the body and what's going on in your body. You know, am I feeling hot or cold or dry or moist? You know, all the different...
Pay attention.
Yeah, pay a lot of attention. Look at the seasons. You know, are you spending a lot of time in air conditioning? What are the qualities of air conditioning? It's drying, it's cold. Okay, is that supporting my body, which tends to, oh, look, it's all, you know, my skin is very dry. And one, I think, important thing just to mention is the two Ayurvedic dictums, which are like attracts like and opposites reduce. And that's really fundamental. If you're high in fire and you eat spicy foods, what's going to happen? You're going to get hotter. But
Sure.
That's actually, when people are imbalanced, that's often what happens. We're already imbalanced, but the body is, because it is imbalanced, it's craving more of what it already has.
Okay.
But what we want to be doing is using opposites to balance, opposites to reduce. So if you have a lot of fire in the body, you'd be wanting to look for cooling foods, moistening and cooling foods, cooling conditions to be in. And so, yeah, using diet and lifestyle to balance the qualities that are in you. Yeah, that's
okay. Great, perfect. Taruna and Reena, do you have anything to contribute to that question I asked?
Yeah, I would just like to say, don't think Ayurveda as a system of medicine, but more as a lifestyle changes. It's not a magic word, but slowly, if you incorporate even one daily habit into your lifestyle and seek yourself, not the outer world, but yourself. Ayurveda is about understanding yourself and what your body demands. Your body can tell you, like Susie said, like repels like, and we have to balance the dosha. To understand the self, listen to your body, listen to your intuition, which takes you through the journey of Ayurveda.
Okay.
And
a positive daily routine would be something like meditation or yoga.
To start your day with meditation. When we mention that do meditation in early hours, it is more because the early hours are Vata hours, and in that Vata hour, it's fluid. It's very it's air and it's all over the place. To calm the Vata down, that's why we do meditation. We do foot massage, and we use a lot of Abhyanga oil massage. So oil balances the Vata dosha. And when we are balanced within ourselves, we can look around for happiness. But if we have a lot of imbalances inside, it's very difficult. We search happiness outside, but not from within. And Ayurveda says, with meditation, yoga, and Ayurvedic practices, find yourself first before looking outside.
Very good. Good point. Reena?
Yes. Same as Dr. Taruna said, I will like to give this reply in 2 lines, that follow Ayurvedic routine, get up in the morning, do the yoga, and then you take bath, then take a good breakfast with healthy things. And in this, before do Pratimarsh Nasya and oil pulling therapy, as I told previously. If possible, apply oil on the body daily. And then after that, you take fruits, then take lunch, and then you take evening tea or green tea as you take. Then your dinner should be before 6 or 7, and then night milk at 9. This should be a routine, but be happy from inside. Don't see other people's reactions, and don't give social smile only for showing others. Give the actual smile. And
happiness comes from within. Now,
Yes.
a couple of questions is from, I'm going to read out. Does birth constitution have anything to do with one's astrological sign?
Yes, there are some doctors in India who practice Ayurveda with astrology. I am not much knowledgeable about this topic. If Dr. Taruna can give some insight into this.
Dr. Taruna?
This is a
Astrology
totally
is a
different topic.
very intimate science, and it's very deep. And it's deeper than Ayurveda to
Yes.
understand. So it's something left with experts who deal with
Astrology.
astrological medicine.
Yes.
So Ayurveda and astrology, yes, they do work in together, but we have very few practitioners who work with the science together. So
Right.
I'm not qualified enough to give astrological knowledge on Ayurveda.
Yes.
Okay. In general, day-to-day people find it quite complicated to understand and follow various regimes. How can the latest digital tools, particularly personalization, be used to make it easier for individuals to adapt Ayurveda as a way of their life? Are there any initiatives to be worked upon in this direction? How can technology sort of assist?
There are people working on technology and using it, but I don't think so. Technology can diagnose your prakriti to the correct way. Because when you answer questions on a digital tool, what happens is you're answering the questions based on your current situation. And when you see your Ayurvedic practitioner in person, the Ayurvedic practitioner observes you, takes your pulse reading, checks your tongue, sees your eye, and there are a lot of aspects on making that decision about the prakriti. Yes, you can self-read, you can use diagnostic tools, which are available, but it is not 100% correct method. You do learn about it, but if it comes to Ayurvedic prescription based on those tools, I'm not into those.
No. Anybody else contribute that?
Same is my reply, because when I see a patient, I can see his or her face, I can see his walk, that is gait, I can ask his digestion, I can see his or her pulse. But without seeing the patient, and only if you use the digital things, I don't think the whole purpose will be solved. Otherwise, simple advisory I have told you, you can see my YouTube channel and other things are also available, which can follow in routine. But for personalized knowledge, you should visit a doctor.
Okay, great. And one other question, which oil should we put on our feet?
I have written in the chat box, that is
Oh,
sesame
you've
oil.
written in the chat, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and where are we? COVID, I think we're done actually on most questions. Or there was a question for Dr. Taruna, can we buy them in Sydney? I think you've been answering these questions, haven't you?
Yes, she has answered.
We just
Okay,
got there as an answer.
perfect. Good. Well, great to talk to everyone about this very interesting topic. It makes you
like to here that the whole idea of ASHA Experience to bring this topic, because to create an awareness about Ayurveda, but at the same time, I would request all our guests to give their feedback and what would they like to hear in our next session, so that it would give us an idea to prepare ourselves, our team, to do a research and then bring those topics back to them.
Good idea. So any feedback that people want to learn about, or they want anything, that particular topic they want to learn about, please feedback and tell Joy.
Well, they write the email, even if they can't do it now, they can send an email, WhatsApp or anything.
Perfect. So but get in touch. But how do they get in touch with you apart from?
Well, we have our email address and we can just write it in the chat box, so they can write it back to us, and and we will get back to them with the kind of topic which they want to hear about, they want to know about, so that they are more aware about. That's the whole idea.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, but as Sina, who I know, said, can we have a consultation for Ayurvedic over Zoom with anyone today to get us started? So, i.e., you three to be able to offer your services.
Yes, we can offer, but any Dr. Taruna or Susie can also do. And if the patient, we can write our email address or website here in the chat box, and that person who wants to consult can consult the person he or she is interested in.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll give out you can put your emails in the chat box, or Joya can.
Yes. I have mentioned my website, Seema Sani is asking this thing. Seema, if you want to consult me, you can take my number from my website and you can talk to me through
Perfect.
WhatsApp or yes.
Katrina, there's a question I need to answer where it says in the Western world, it is not easy to follow the routines if you want to have a social life. For instance, there are many times parties start not earlier as 8 or 9 p.m. and many people at home eat after 7 p.m. How are the other Westerns coping with this? I would just like to answer this question because I'm staying here and my daily routine similarly goes around it. The best way if you're having dinner after 7 p.m. is to have a very light dinner, but incorporate practices like Abhyanga, daily massage, Nasya oil, which Dr. Reena mentioned. Listen to your body. So you're not partying every day. You're partying once a week or once in 15 days. But then you do have time throughout other days to follow the Ayurvedic regime or a healthy lifestyle. So if you have one day, you can take that day as your cheat day, but then other days you can come up and balance your body and work accordingly. It's about adjusting to the daily pressures and how lifestyle work with you.
Okay, adjusting to the daily lifestyle. Okay, so it's about bringing it into your daily life.
So some small changes every day, and then when you start doing it, your body automatically gets in tune to follow the Ayurvedic routines because you feel so good inside that you would stick to the things which you want to feel good and happy about. It's all about finding your inner happiness. Exactly. And that's the journey of Ayurveda.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about pretty much has been the overarching theme. So find the happiness within, not from the outside. It's and Ayurvedic can assist with that. So thank you very much, everybody, and great talking to everybody from all over the globe. That's the great thing about doing these talks, is connecting with people with knowledge in different places. And Bajoya, thank you for organising and Lemonade Social, and we look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for participating, and Katrina, again moderating, and we look forward to see you every month now. And we love our panelists, the way they have enlightened everyone. And kudos to Shubhra, who has been coordinating with all our panelists, all our guests. So it's a nice discussion, and we look forward to see you again and again.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Nice meting with you.
Very nice meeting you too.
You are smiling from inside now.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
When she's
the talk made me happy.
When she's moderating, she's always smiling from inside.
Oh,
happiness.
I think that's her passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be in touch.
Nice meeting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye.
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 Kritika.
Dr. Yadav, can you hear me? I can't hear anybody.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
so
thanks for.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just I'm interested in making sure that things are sophisticatedly simple for people who are interested in trying things, whether it's what I do, which is exercise, mindfulness, and hypnotherapy. What I try and make sure is that I don't bombard them with stuff. You just want to give them a little taster, right? And so they go, "Ooh, I feel, I don't know, 5% better through doing 3 steps a morning." Yeah. And what I find with Ayurveda, an incredible system. But even myself, I think I'm fairly intelligent. I can get a little bit overwhelmed with so much advice in so many different areas. And so how would you start with just a 3-step routine the three main elements that you think you've got to do at least this in the morning, you know, whether it's a mental thing or a physical thing. What would you recommend for that? If it was like, just to begin as a taster, follow a 3-step Ayurveda routine.
Just start your day with warm water when you wake up, the first thing.
Right.
A glass of 1 or 2 of warm water.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you clean your bowels every day. So normally the practice I've seen in Western world is people exercise, do everything, but the bowels are not being clean.
Right.
The step is warm water, clean bowels, meditate for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Just sit quietly for 5 minutes.
Perfect.
You don't have to chant a mantra, or you don't have to do the integrated meditation process. Be quiet for 5 to 10 minutes. Just tune in with nature. These are the 3 basic things, and you'll find the change in 15 to 21 days to make you interested to understand more.
I bet.
Yeah.
And so how would you do the bowel cleaning? What's the best way to do that?
When you start having water every day, your system works well with it.
Okay.
We're not used to having water in the morning. We start our day with a cup of tea or coffee. And there you go. And it doesn't sit well with the gut system actually in the morning.
Right.
So that's how you start your day and go from there.
Marvelous. Would you add, over in the West, they always mention to add some fresh lemon juice or as well, and that is, they say that's a bit of a detox and vitamin, but you think that just pure warm water is better?
Just plain pure warm water.
Doesn't mess around with the system, right?
The water.
Right.
So we would just take a cup and microwave it now. Heat it over in a kettle would be okay, or on a pan.
Okay.
Warm the water and have it sit down and sip that glass of water. Don't stand, gulp it down.
Right. And so that's number 1, and then meditation's number 2. I teach meditation, so there's no problem giving people advice on the simpler side of meditation.
Yeah.
And what was number 3?
Cleaning the bowels.
Okay,
that's 2, and then 3rd is meditation.
So it's kind of hand in hand, right? That's brilliant, and definitely, you know, because everyone hears about Ayurveda, and even at the moment I'm staying in Ireland just for a few days,